janaranjana Yamunatira vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Ashta Sakhis Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudirayet nashta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, Text 9. Mandasya manda-prajñasya vayo mandāyuṣaś nidrayā hriyate naktam divā vyartha-karmabhiḥ mandasya manda-prajñasya vayo mandāyuṣaś nidrayā hriyate naktam divā vyartha-karmabhiḥ. Please repeat. Nidrayā mandasya manda-prajñasya, vayo mandāyuṣaś, nidrayā hriyate naktam, mandasya manda-prajñasya, vayo mandāyuṣaś, nidrayā hriyate naktam, divā vyartha-karmabhiḥ. Mataji's? Mandasya manda-prajñasya, vayo mandāyuṣaś, nidrayā hriyate naktam, divā vyartha-karmabhiḥ. Okay, word for word. Mandasya, of the lazy. Manda, paltry. Prajñasya, of intelligence. Vayaḥ, age. Manda, short. Āyuṣaḥ, of duration of life. Cha, end. Vai, exactly. Nidrayā, by sleeping. Hriyate, passes away. Naktam, night. Divā, daytime. Cha, also. Vyartha, for nothing. Karmabhiḥ, by activities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for naught. Purport. The less intelligent do not know the real value of the human form of life. The human form is a special gift of material nature in the course of her enforcing stringent laws of miseries upon the living being. It is a chance to achieve the highest boon of life, namely, to get out of the entanglement of repeated birth and death. The intelligent take care of this important gift by strenuously endeavoring to get out of the entanglement. But the less intelligent are lazy and unable to evaluate the gift of the human body to achieve liberation from the material bondage. They become more interested in so-called economic development and work very hard throughout life simply for the sense enjoyment of the temporary body. Sense enjoyment is also allowed to the lower animals by the law of nature, and thus a human being is also destined to a certain amount of sense enjoyment according to his past or present life. But one should definitely try to understand that sense enjoyment is not the ultimate goal of human life. Herein it is said that during the daytime one works for nothing because the aim is nothing but sense enjoyment. We can particularly observe how the human being is engaged for nothing in the great cities and industrial towns. There are so many things manufactured by human energy, but they are all meant for sense enjoyment and not for getting out of material bondage. And after working hard during the daytime, a tired man either sleeps or engages in sex habits at night. That is the program of materialistic civilized life for the less intelligent. Therefore, they are designated herein as lazy, unfortunate, and short-lived. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum tinataranam. Shri Chaitanya manobishtam stapitam yena bhutale svayam rupa kadamayam dadati svapadantikam. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Is this working? Microphone? Can you hear me? Not so good. I don't know how to fix it. Okay, so I guess I must speak close. Is this better? Okay. So, I wanted to say about this topic that we hear in this verse, how it's not a popular topic to speak how people live short lives. And there are so many motivational speakers today who post their videos on YouTube. They are very popular, but none of them speaks how life is short. Usually what they speak about is how you can manifest abundance, how you can attract your ideal partner, how to have good relationships. And they present life as almost like we are here to live forever and all we have to do is just manifest things, like we're some kind of magicians, and then we pull out rabbits out of our heads. And the reason why people don't want to hear about how life is short is that anytime they are faced with their own idea of their own death or leaving of somebody who is dear to them, it's almost like a shock. No, not almost. It is a shock, and we all like to live as if in some kind of amnesia where we pretend we're all gonna live forever, and then when somebody leaves, we stop talking about this person. If he is famous, he is still talked about. But if somebody is not famous, then people forget about him very soon. And then even if then you would mention this person in some conversation, you would say something how he used to do this or he used to do that. But somehow people don't connect with this anymore. They say, why you speak about somebody who left? Now suddenly, let's all pretend like this never happened, or let's all pretend like that doesn't exist. So this is the situation we are in this material world, and that is why this topic is difficult. And we see that for us ordinary persons who are invited to speak here as Bhagavatam class, we have to speak about these topics because Bhagavatam speaks about these topics and speaks a lot. this is the main point, is that we realize that we come to this level where we understand that we want to stop this cycle of repeated birth and death, and that every life we get is opportunity to stop this circle, and not that our life is only opportunity to stop this circle, but it is the most important thing for that life should be spent on, and that all the other things that materialistic people say are important are actually not at all important. So we as Bhagavatam readers were already informed at the beginning of the first canto by Naimisharanya sages. Already in the 10th verse, they were speaking to Sutta Goswami and defining this age of Kali, and they say, Prayena upayuṣasabhya kala vasmin yuge janaha mandasu manda-matayo manda-bhagya hyupadrutaha. In this age of Kali, men almost always have but short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So this is the basic characteristic of the age of Kali. And then also we are reminded, or we will be reminded, again in the second canto, in the third chapter, Ayuharati vaipumsam udyan astam chayana sav tasyarte yat kshano nita uttama shloka vartaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. So this is what this verse says, what we shouldn't do. We shouldn't be lazy, and we shouldn't be involved so much with economic development of our material situation. And then the question is, what should we do? And that's the answer, that whenever we can, we should discuss the topics of the Lord, all good personality of Godhead. My dear husband sent me some also verses from the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so I feel I should read them also. They are the commentary on this verse I read and the next verse. So he says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, then what should men do? They should drink the nectar of the Lord's pastimes. So we hear that's the same conclusion as in this Ayurharati Vaipumsam verse. And then the next commentary on the next verse says, anything other than hearing about the Lord is useless. Again, confirming that this is the topmost priority. Those of us who are born with materialistic parents, we are so-called converts, I think many of us share this situation where it's very hard to explain to our parents what is it that we are doing as Krishna devotees. They would say, they might say to us, as they do, you have to achieve something in life, you have to become somebody, and you have to make a mark and leave some trail behind you, and you cannot just be anonymous anybody. And sometimes they say like this, I want you to make me proud. Do you have parents like this who say that? And then if you don't make them proud, then they say, oh, you're such a disappointment. Do you have this experience? Okay, well, if you don't, you are lucky. But it happens that parents say like this. So we as devotees, we need to, I mean, the easiest thing to do is just distance ourselves, because sometimes it's not possible for them to explain our worldview how the most important thing in our life is chanting and reading and discussing Krishna, discussing about Krishna, and then becoming Krishna conscious. And then whatever Krishna sends is just what we accept as enough. And then also in this purport is explained that whenever we're in whatever situation we already have something. It's not that we are born in this world without nothing and we need to struggle so hard to earn our food. No. Also, Srila Prabhupada explains in many times that in whatever form of life we are born, immediately there is food, immediately there is shelter, and immediately there is opportunity for mating and for defending. So it's not like you have to endeavor to find those things. It's already, as you are born, these things are already there. And I found this class he gave. It was in March 8, 1967 in San Francisco. And this, he made some points in this class that made a big impression to me, so I want to share these points. And this was one of the things that he was explaining, that he says, a fish is born in the ocean and immediately food is there. And then he says, also cockroaches, they're born in a drain and immediately food is there. So I found that very funny, because I know he was living most of his life in India, so in India cockroaches are everywhere present, and I was laughing because I was thinking, yes, they have food. If they have food in the drain, then why there is need for them to come out? Then they should stay there. So what made this impression on me, this class I was reading as I was preparing, is because I had this intention of speaking about meditation, how important meditation is in practice. And this class by Prabhupada made me realize that actually I have to be very careful if I speak a Bhagavatam class, not to present my own ideas, because we all have our own ideas. And by reading this class, I realized how the duty of a speaker, of Bhagavatam speaker, is to present what the acharyas say, and that is our only duty. And we should always try to minimize whatever ideas we have or whatever explanations we have on our own, and then just try to convey what they say. And it's always like that, because we are never on their level. We are just taking what we are getting from them, and we are not supposed to interpret anything or come up with our own ideas, or think that they were speaking for their own time, but now the world is changed, and now these things no longer apply. This is very important, so that's why this class made me realize this. And it is it was a class on 2 verses from the 7th canto and 6th chapter, where Prahlad Maharaj is speaking to his classmates. He was going to school. They were 5 years old, and they were taught by Sanda and Amarka how economic development is the most important thing in life. And then when they had a break, little Prahlad, he would gather his friends. They wanted to play, but he said, no, don't play. Come here. I have something to share with you. And then he told them. And these words are so nice. I want to read them in Sanskrit also. So, Shri Prahlad said, Sukham aindriyakam daitya, deha yogena dehinam, sarvatra labhyate daivad, yata dukam ayatnataha. My dear friends, he said, born of demoniac families, the happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life, according to one's past fruitive activities. So just like this purport says, anywhere you are born, already you have all your life necessities. And such happiness, he says, is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress. So we obtain happiness and we obtain distress based on our past fruitive activities. Then he continues. Tat prayaso na kartavyo, yata ayur vyaya param, natata vindate kshemam mukunda charanam bhujam, he says. Endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy with no actual profit. If one's endeavors are directed toward Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self-realization. There is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development. So this is the situation how they are 5 years old, these children, and he's telling them, don't waste time, life is short. Can you imagine some 5-year-old children speaking like this? It would seem very strange. that they are concerned that life is so short. But Prahlad, he was really strict. He said, no, don't play, don't waste time. Don't try to endeavor for achieving happiness, material happiness. You have to endeavor for Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada explains that he explains in this class and in many others that this is specifically in Kali Yuga when life is short. That in Satya Yuga people live 100,000 years. In Treta Yuga they live 10,000 years. In Dvapara Yuga people live 1,000 years, and in Kali Yuga specifically people live 100 years. And then he was explaining in this class how great sages in Satya Yuga, they were, because they had a long life, so they were able to meditate. And because we have short life, we are not able to meditate. And he gives example of Valmiki Muni, who achieved perfection by meditation after 60,000 years. And he gives example of Kardama Muni, who achieved perfection after meditating for 10,000 years. So this is a little bit inconceivable for us, because if we would meditate all our life from the moment we were born till the end, that would only come up to 100 years. So how is it possible that somebody can live such a long life and meditate for such a long time? So this is the verse that Prabhupada quotes from 12th canto. Kritaya dhyayato Vishnum, tretayam jayato makai, dvapare paricharyayam kalau tadari kirtanat. And in Kali Yuga, in Satya Yuga, it begins with Satya Yuga. It's possible in the golden age to meditate on Vishnu. And then people are 100% pious. Then in Treta Yuga, piety is reduced by 1/4. And then people perform sacrifices. In Dvapara Yuga, piety is reduced to half, and people perform deity worship. And in Kali Yuga, people are only 1/4 pious or religious, and so the prescribed method of meditation is chanting the holy name, Hari Kirtanat. He explains about meditation. He explains what is it, that meditation means attempt to understand oneself, what I am. So if we think about what I am, if we wonder, if we ask ourselves these questions, so this is the start of meditation. And then he addresses this meditation on voidness. As we know, for example, in Buddhism, it's a practice to meditate on voidness, how everything is empty. And he says, Prabhupada actually says, that this is the start of meditation, how we realize that this body is nothing, or that I am not this body. So we stop identifying with the body. That is the beginning of the meditation process. But then there are other steps. And the next step is, when we come to the realization, so I am not this body, so then who am I? And he says, I am spirit soul, aham brahmasmi. So I know my identity is spirit. I am not matter, I am spirit. But then Prabhupada says, then there is next level, third level, that we come to realize that we have got spiritual activities. And then we wonder, so what are the activities of the spirit soul? As we know, the spirit soul is eternal and it is always engaged. So there must be spiritual activities. And then he says, by meditating like this, we come to the fourth level, which is perfection. And this is the level when you are actually situated in spiritual activities, when one is engaged in those spiritual activities. He explains how Krishna consciousness is direct engagement of spiritual activities. And then this is the concession of this age. Because of short life and because of being always disturbed, we cannot meditate. So we are given a concession, like a bonus, that we can practice Krishna consciousness. And then he continues to say, so because practice of Krishna consciousness is most important, and that is why endeavoring for sense gratification is obstacle. But he admits that the body is there, and that as long as we have body, there are bodily demands of the senses. And he doesn't say we negate those demands. He says that the process is that these demands are controlled. Or he says you satisfy demands of the senses, but in a systematic way or a regulated way, so that you can be not so disturbed, and you can spend more time for Krishna conscious activities. So this control of the senses is part of the process, and artificial increasing of sense gratification is definitely not what Krishna devotees should be endeavoring in. But most of the time should be used to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. So at the end of this class, there were some questions, and these questions I found very interesting. For example, Shyama Sundar asked, so if there are spiritual activities of the soul, and there are so many souls, are there are there different activities for different souls? Are there many different spiritual activities? And then I liked how Prabhupada answered that. He said, no, there is only one activity of spirit soul, and that is to serve the Lord. And he said, our mission is one God, one mantra, one scripture, and one activity. And then he explained, one God means Krishna. One mantra means Hare Krishna. One scripture, Bhagavad Gita. And then one activity, to serve Krishna. Yes, this is what he said. And I like this because it also reminded me of a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Can somebody also have some idea which verse in Bhagavad Gita this is? Huh? Okay, yeah, there are many. Yeah, of course, there are many. I was thinking of this one. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bakushaka hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasainam. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. So sometimes we are perplexed how this process might be complicated, or might be not for us, or we are complicated, so the process is not for us. So I liked when Srila Prabhupada, he makes it so simple, and then he was saying this process is simple for the simple. Like this is a good example. And then he explains about the chanting, that as soon as we chant, we force our mind to be engaged in chanting and hearing. So this is different from just meditating and thinking, trying to force the mind to think about the Lord. Because when we chant, the mind who makes trouble and who is rebellious, when we chant, the mind is actually, he's forced to hear the mantra. And then by this vibration, we are attracted. So this is the concession in this Kali Yuga age. Because of short lives and because of lazy intelligence, we are given this concession, this process. There was also another person in this class who was hearing this class in 67, and he was obviously not a devotee. He was some kind of follower of Maharishi Yogi, who was at that time he was promoting transcendental meditation in USA, and it was very popular. So he asked Prabhupada this question. So what is, because he's saying, I am a student of my guru, Maharishi Yogi, and we are taught to meditate in the morning and in the evening for at least 15 minutes and up to 1 hour. And then if we can, we are advised to meditate for 1 hour in the evening and 1 hour in the morning, but if we cannot do for 1 hour, at least 15 minutes. And then what is this that you say that meditation is not possible in Kali Yuga, because we are all taught by our guru that this is our practice. So Prabhupada then, he asked him, so what is this meditation that you are doing? And this person, he could not really explain. He said, well, maybe my guru can explain. I'm not able to explain yet. I'm not able to explain the way he explains. And then I found this funny that Prabhupada, he got annoyed. He was saying, but then if you cannot explain what you are doing, then why you ask this question? Why you open your mouth if you cannot explain? and you expect me to give you an answer. He was like saying, being very strict. And then this person explained this, how we are sitting in a place in silence and close our eyes and we meditate. And this is what our guru is teaching us. And then Prabhupada asked him, so what Shastra are you following? Where is this described in the Shastra, your process, your meditation? Where is this from? From Vedas. And then this man said, no, we don't have anything like this. And then Prabhupada was then completely annoyed. He said, well then, I cannot comment about it, because what we do is all based on Shastra, and I can only comment your meditation if it is mentioned somewhere in Shastra. But if your guru is concocting some kind of meditation method on his own, without any reference to any Vedas, then it's just nonsense. I cannot even comment about it. So I liked how he dealt with this situation, how he didn't even want to comment something because it's not mentioned in Shastra. It's not mentioned in the Vedas. And then on the other side, what we are doing, we see is so much corroborated with the Vedas and with our tradition. And in this same conversation, he also asked him, so about the meditation, he tried to explain to him, he asked him a question, what is the difference if somebody meditates 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the evening, or even 1 hour in the morning or 1 hour in the evening, and compared to somebody who is meditating all the time? And then, of course, this man got confused. How is it possible to meditate all the time? We have to do so many different things in the day. And Prabhupada, he was insisting, and he said, but then you just compare these two examples and you answer me which meditation is better. Is it better that who is meditating more? Whose meditation is better? Is it the meditation of a person who is meditating all the time, or meditation of somebody who is meditating sometime in the morning and sometime in the evening? And then this person obviously had no choice but to say that this meditation of somebody who is meditating all the time is superior. And that was Prabhupada's point, that he was quoting, this is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, man mana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru mam evaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Engage your mind always in thinking of me and become my devotee and offer obeisances to me and worship me. So that's his plans. That's Krishna consciousness, thinking about Krishna always. And I remember when I was meeting devotees, and when I was being attracted to mantra and prasadam and devotees as persons. In the beginning, I was not. We see that many people are like this. In the beginning, it's hard to say, oh yes, this is something I want to commit my life, definitely. In the beginning, many people, they say, I like devotees, but I have some other plans, or I can be friends with devotees, but I have my own life and things like that. Or I can be with devotees, but I also have some other things to do. And then usually what happens is that devotees say, oh, don't worry, you don't need to change your life so much, you just need to follow these regulative principles, and then you chant 16 rounds. It doesn't take so much time. It's just 2 hours daily, and then you can do you can have your life. So this is how we embark on a journey, because we are told that it's possible. It's for you. You can do it. We are encouraged. But then, as we get involved and as we hopefully advance, we come to this point where we have no choice but to accept that Krishna should be in our lives 24/7, and if we can, and anything less than that is not Krishna consciousness. It's a complete commitment. There is no some other thing. It's very scary. Of course, that's why when you, for new people, you don't say this. So yes, you come and you join us, and then you will be thinking about Krishna all the time. It is an internal process, Krishna consciousness. Instead, we have big temples, we have prasadam distribution, we have so many external things to attract new people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be attracted. But actually, what this process is about is Krishna consciousness is about thinking about Krishna always. And the name that Srila Prabhupada chose for this movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, well, it makes it clear that this is what we are about, and all the other things that are external to Krishna consciousness that we are not about. And he explains this in a purport in the 9th canto, why he named the society Society for Krishna Consciousness. And in Sanskrit, the name is Krishna Bhavanamrita Sangha. And translation is the associations of persons who are simply satisfied in thoughts of Krishna. So we see how that's our meditation, thinking about Krishna. And he explains that Krishna conscious person does not want to stop his cycle of birth and death, and he prays, I may take birth as you like, my only prayer is that I may be engaged in your service. So, because we understand that usually the object of meditation is ending the cycle of birth and death, and then achieving liberation, that in our process, actually it is the service. It is the Lord's service that is our object. It is not so much this reaching liberation and leaving this world. So this is very I find it very comforting, because as time moves on, it seems things are getting so complex in our lives, and in the world in general. And then we may wonder, how is this still is this what Prabhupada gave us? Is it still relevant? Can we still follow? But we can see that he made sure that as an acharya, he made his purports and his classes. He set them in a way that we can always approach them, and we can always get inspiration from his words. And let's have a few minutes. Okay, we can maybe. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I was hearing yesterday, like, about this point that you was saying in the beginning, like, to take the quotings of what Srila Prabhupada say about this, but in one point it's like little bit confused for me, the main idea, because I try to understand, like, for example, the union between meditation and about this point of the class that the life is so short, and about like in whatever moment, whatever can die. And in one point, like, is completely nice about the point of meditation and how you quoting everything. But I cannot understand this union. Is like so important for me. Like, if you can, now you make all the study, if you can say for me like that realization, how is matching, because my mind now is like in some collage, like so much ideas, but I don't understand the connection of these ideas, and I feel like little confusing about. It's like too much shruti, like the point clear, but without Puranas, without like pastimes, realizations, like in this between that make more clear the idea. And I wanted to ask you in this case, like now that you make all this study and you are making this study about meditation, and you in the end you match with so important have Krishna in your meditation, everything. I want like if you can explain for me your realization about this point, about this conduction with the main idea.
Okay, as I understand, I can try to share this process that happened to me, how I realized that I have a misconception about what is meditation. And then by reading this purport, actually it was a class by Srila Prabhupada, how I got to realize that oh, I have this understanding of what is meditation, and actually my understanding is wrong. So it happens. And we may not always, we may feel we know or we understand, and then at some point at some point we realize, actually I was thinking I know and I didn't know, or I was thinking I understand, but actually my understanding was wrong. So about meditation, I had this idea that meditation is something natural, and it is like basis of life. And then we say, if we are cooking, I say, oh, I am meditating what I'm going to cook. Or if I say I have to go and buy something, I am meditating what am I going to buy. So we call this kind of thinking, we also say meditation. So then this is the confusion. Then okay, then why Prabhupada explains that meditation is not possible in Kali Yuga, when obviously you have to meditate if whatever you want to do, you have to meditate about it first. You cannot just do something, you have to think about it. And with thinking about doing something, we also call meditation. So this was, I think, maybe similar doubt, similar question. That.
But Prabhupada said like meditation is not for this age, like in the way to the path for this age, forget the Prem Bhakti or the pure devotion, like in the last ages.
Yes.
But this movement is Krishna consciousness, because Krishna have to be in your consciousness, and this is so kind of deep meditation. This makes the difference between material or spiritual, how much Krishna is in your consciousness, in your activities. And it's so simple in the end, like Prabhupada was saying, is try to satisfy Krishna. It's simple in the end, in this aspect. But not like a way of like you sit and make austerities, forget emancipation or forget liberation. That this is the point with the Gyanis. That the Gyanis have so much knowledge, but what they want is stop the sufferings, and they don't take gratification, they don't take sense gratification. But we don't make this. We take sense gratification and we engage in Krishna consciousness. We enjoy, we have entertainment in our mind, but full of Krishna consciousness. We give everything for them, and this is meditation. This is the difference between material and spiritual. Like you don't want to enjoy yourself, but you want to make Krishna enjoy, and this is consciousness, and this is the meditation that is quoting Prabhupada in the purports. Like I understand. Thank you so much. So beautiful class. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I understood that in this context, Prabhupada wanted to explain the difference between meditation in Satya Yuga and chanting kirtan that we do in Kali Yuga. He wanted to explain this difference. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mother. Mother, it's a comment, not question. Prabhupada has given us very beautiful this morning program and all these services and Gaur Aarti and all these things. Whole day we are occupied. So, like while doing all these things, our mind keep on wandering here and there, thinking desiring so many material desires. So practically, even this becomes sometimes mechanical, and so meditating in this yoga is it's very tough, almost impossible. So basic thing is to remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna. So that is best way serving Krishna. Like when we are serving, we are always remembering Krishna, because we are serving. How do we serve? I mean, best way. So this is the best way Prabhupada has given. Like all this program and all the. Even this is sometimes practically very tough. So meditation in this yoga is no way.
Okay, so that was a comment. Yes. The process that Prabhupada gave us is perfect for this Kali Yuga age. And also he mentioned many times that as Kali Yuga progresses, that things will become more deteriorating. So that is why we should understand how this process is, as he is given, is should be followed and not changed with time. He set a standard, basically. Okay.
So, Mataji, just a comment. The meditation process is coming down the line in Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 1st chapter. Just after this, Sukadeva Goswami is going to tell how to meditate, how to control your mind, how to... so, in 2nd canto, 1st chapter. It's coming, but of course, as Prabhu said, it's difficult for us, but there is a process. Meditation process is there in 2nd canto. Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bom.